They said it was impenetrable. $16 million security system, motion sensors, cameras on every corner, armed guards rotating shifts. The Dunbar Armored Depot on Mateo Street in downtown Los Angeles held more cash than most banks. Every Friday night, tens of millions in untraceable $20 bills stacked floor to ceiling, waiting for ATM routes across Southern California. The company moved $1 billion a year through that single-story building. But on September 12, 1997, 6 men walked out with $18.9 million in 30 minutes flat. They used bolt cutters, basic hardware store bolt cutters, $15 at Home Depot, snapped through padlocks like butter, the same locks Dunbar trusted to cage their cash inside the vault. How does that happen? How does a Fortune 500 security company get taken down by a tool any teenager can buy? Who were these men, and how long did they walk free? Clean background check. References said he was reliable. Dunbar hired him immediately. His duties? Check fire extinguishers, test smoke detectors, make sure exit signs lit up, inspect sprinkler systems, verify fire alarm functionality, walk the facility with a clipboard noting which hallway needed a new bulb, which door hinge squeaked, which section of floor tile was cracked. Basic stuff, boring stuff. The kind of jobs where nobody watches you because you are the person watching everything else. He snapped pictures of everything. Fire extinguisher locations, camera mounting brackets, electrical panel configurations, doorframe measurements, all legitimate, all necessary for his job, all useful for planning a heist. Dead zones existed in the overlapping coverage. Pace timed them, measured them, marked them on his floor plan. A person could cross certain hallways unseen if they moved during the sweep. 3 seconds, maybe 4, enough time if you knew exactly when to move. 6 guards total for a facility processing millions. 2 stationed in the vault room, 1 at the front desk, 1 patrolling exterior perimeter, 2 floating between positions. Friday nights the vault stayed operational. Guards rotated break times to maintain coverage, but the cafeteria sat 40 feet from the vault entrance. Guards walked there alone. No buddy system, no radio check-ins, just walked down the hall, grabbed coffee, sat for 15 minutes, walked back. That comprehensive knowledge became the weapon. October 4, 2002, in court documents from the United States District Court Central District of California, filed between 1999 and 2001 during United States versus Alan Pace and co-defendants. Now back to the information. Guards took their breaks, one at a time, 15-minute windows. The vault stayed open because crews were loading money for Saturday morning routes. Millions in bills got sorted into canvas bags. No time to lock and unlock steel cages every 10 minutes. So they left the vault door wide open and trusted padlocks on wire mesh cages inside to keep the cash secure. Padlocks. Standard issue brass padlocks. The kind with a half-inch shackle. Pace saw them every week. He measured them with his eyes. Bolt cutters would go through in one squeeze. Worked as bouncers at nightclubs. Big guys, calm under pressure. Pace showed them floor plans, photographs of the vault, camera blind spots marked in red. He told them about the Friday night routine. Vault open, minimal staff, 2 guards inside the vault room, 4 more scattered through the building. If they hit at 12:30 a.m., they would have a window. Get in, tie up the guards, cut the cages, load the truck. Out in 30 minutes, before anyone realized, the alarm never sounded. September 11, 1997, Thursday afternoon. Dunbar fired Alan Pace. The official reason? Tampering with company vehicles. Someone caught him removing headlights from armored trucks. Some reports say it was undisclosed. Others say vehicle damage. Either way, Pace was told to turn in his keys by end of shift Friday. He kept them. Walked out Thursday with duplicates in his pocket. His girlfriend had been fired 4 weeks earlier. She worked near the security footage machines. She knew where the backup VCR sat, hidden behind a locked cabinet in a back office nowhere near the vault. Pace knew exactly where to look when the time came. Changed into black clothing. Ski masks. Grabbed the gear. Pace provided radio headsets so they could communicate inside. Ski masks to hide their faces. Pistols and a shotgun for intimidation, but no intention to fire. Duct tape to restrain the guards. And bolt cutters. Basic 36-inch bolt cutters. The kind with long handles for leverage. Cuts through padlock shackles rated up to half an inch. Pace had checked. The cages inside the vault used exactly that size. But still, Friday night. The crew pulled up to the side entrance. Pace used his keys. The lock turned smooth. No alarms. Security cameras panned on 30-second intervals. Pace had memorized the timing. They crossed the hallway one by one during the blind spots. Moved fast. No hesitation. Reached the cafeteria and waited. The night shift guards took breaks at 12:30. Always. One by one. Clockwork. He expected coffee. Got 6 masked men in a shotgun barrel 2 inches from his face. They duct taped his hands and feet. Taped his mouth. Laid him face down on the floor. Told him to stay quiet or his head comes off. Second guard 10 minutes later. Same routine. Third guard. Fourth. Fifth. The cafeteria filled with duct-taped bodies lined up like logs. None of them saw it coming. No shots fired, no alarms triggered. Total silence, except for the tear of tape and muffled breathing. Now the depot belonged to them. Industrial wire fencing, quarter-inch gauge, welded to steel frames bolted into concrete. Each cage had a hinged door. And on each door, a brass padlock. Approximately 1,500 pounds per square inch. Bolt cutters with 36-inch handles generate over 2,000 pounds of cutting force. The math was simple. The padlocks never stood a chance. More bags sat in the back. The full count? 378 bags, $18.9 million total. The bills were bundled in $5,000 bricks, 10 bricks per bag, shrink-wrapped, labeled with destination codes for ATM routes throughout Los Angeles County. Santa Monica, Pasadena, Long Beach, Torrance, Glendale. All of it sitting behind wire mesh and $12 padlocks. During high-volume operations, loading crews needed constant access. A vault cage with a combination lock or electronic access system takes time. Spin the dial, enter the code, wait for the mechanism, pull the handle. Every cage, every time. 15 cages might mean 15 separate unlocking procedures. When you were loading $3 million in ATM cash before sunrise, that time adds up. Padlocks were fast. Keep the key on your belt. Pop the lock. Grab the bags. Close the door. Snap the lock back. Done. 30 seconds per cage instead of 3 minutes. That efficiency saved Dunbar hundreds of labor hours per year. Those layers supposedly compensated for weak cage locks. In theory, nobody should reach the cages without defeating multiple security measures first. In practice, an insider with keys made all those layers meaningless. The shackle snapped every time. He knew it would work, brought the proof to his crew, showed them videos of the test cuts, demonstrated the technique, made sure they understood. This was not theory. This was verified. The locks would fail. No shouts, just the hum of ventilation and the breathing of bound guards in the next room. Second lock, snap. Easier now. Confident. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. All 8 cages open in under 2 minutes. 24 years of combined security. 8 padlocks, 2 minutes. 16.8 seconds per lock average. Forged steel jaws, chrome-plated handles, rated to cut grade 5 hardened steel up to 5/8 inch. The master lock shackles were half-inch, below the cutter's maximum capacity. The tool was designed for exactly this purpose. Cutting security hardware. Ironic. A security company defeated by a tool marketed for cutting security equipment. Lockpicks. Quiet but slow. 4 pin cylinders take 30 seconds to a minute for an expert. 8 locks. Maybe 6 minutes minimum. Too long. Exposed. Bolt cutters. Loud for 1 second, then done. Risk versus reward. Noise for 1 second. 8 locks in 2 minutes. That was the correct tool for the job. They loaded bag after bag into the U-Haul backed up to the loading dock. Each bag weighed 30 pounds. 200 bags. Several tons of cash. It took all 6 of them rotating in and out. One man watched the duct-taped guards. 5 moved bags, then they rotated. Kept everyone fresh. No faces captured. No angles showing the U-Haul license plate. They thought of everything. Then they changed clothes, put on dress shirts and slacks, drove back to the Long Beach party, walked in around 1:30 a.m., grabbed beers, laughed with people like they had never left. Perfect alibi. Security tapes missing. Not a single fingerprint. Not a single witness outside the bound guards who saw nothing but masks. The only physical evidence? A broken taillight lens in the loading dock. Plastic. From a U-Haul truck. Investigators knew immediately it was an inside job. Who else would know the camera blind spots? Who else would know the Friday night routine? Who else would have keys? Access to everything. Motive, means, opportunity. FBI agents interviewed him, searched his home, found nothing. He claimed innocence, said he was at a party all night. Witnesses confirmed. He had not left the party, or so they said. The investigation stalled. Pace had planned it perfectly. No phone records, no paper trail, no suspicious purchases. The crew waited 6 months before touching the money. They knew law enforcement would be watching. So they sat on it, lived normal lives, worked normal jobs, acted like nothing had changed. Created fake W-2 tax forms to make it look like the crew earned wages. The money flowed through Rainforest Productions, a company owned by Eugene Hill and another accomplice. They claimed it manufactured incinerators, reported inflated salaries over $100,000 per year, paid taxes on it to make it look legitimate. Herrick Boyd funneled $177,000 through his father's business. All of them laundered cash through real estate deals, small amounts, spread out, nothing flashy. They gambled in Las Vegas, bought cars for their families, purchased homes, normal American life, funded by stolen millions. The FBI had suspicions, but no evidence. The case went cold. A catastrophic, unforgivable mistake. He hired a real estate broker to help purchase property. When it came time to pay, Hill handed over a stack of cash. The broker noticed something strange. The bills were wrapped in branded currency straps. Dunbar Armored Corporation printed across the paper. The broker called the police immediately. 14-foot truck. Rented the day before the heist. Returned the day after. The taillight lens matched. They had him. FBI agents arrested Eugene Hill on suspicion of possessing stolen currency. Searched his home, found more stacks with Dunbar wrappers still intact. Hill cracked. He confessed everything. Named all 5 co-conspirators. Named the attorney and office manager who helped launder the money. Gave them the whole operation. October 1998. The FBI and LAPD formed Operation Dunrob, Joint Task Force. 15 investigators total, 8 FBI special agents. 5 LAPD detectives, 2 IRS criminal investigators. They set up operations in a secure room inside the federal building in Westwood on Wilshire Boulevard. Walls covered in case files, timeline boards tracking every suspect's movements, financial flowcharts showing money trails. Photographs of all 6 crew members and their known associates pinned to corkboards. The crew lived modestly. No red flags, no suspicious activity. It was masterful restraint. He had investigated 8 major cases in Los Angeles County, won convictions on 6. He understood how these crews operated, knew their psychology, knew they would slip eventually. Good at his job. No warning signs. Nobody suspected him capable of violence or theft, but his firing gave him motive. His position gave him access. The timeline fit perfectly. 10,000 there, structured to stay under federal reporting thresholds. The IRS investigators flagged it, started tracking those deposits, building a money laundering case parallel to the robbery investigation. But in 1999, he contacted a real estate broker, wanted to purchase a small commercial property in Compton, asked about cash transactions, how much could be paid in cash without triggering reports. The broker found it strange. Most buyers used financing. Hill insisted on cash. And when payment came due, Hill handed over stacks of 20s. And the broker noticed the currency straps, Dunbar Armored Corporation printed on each band. Federal Reserve packaging protocols. Only armored car companies and banks used those specific straps. The broker knew something was wrong, called the FBI tip line. That call changed everything. Not so large, it drew attention. Not so small, it could not hold the haul. Hill rented it from a U-Haul location on Western Avenue at 9 a.m., returned it September 13th at 2 p.m. Odometer showed 47 miles. The distance from Western Avenue to Mateo Street to Compton and back? 46 miles. It matched perfectly. Traffic cameras. Most had already been erased. Businesses keep footage for 30 days maximum. This was 2 years later. But one camera had been offline for maintenance from September 10th through September 15th. When technicians brought it back online, they never overwrote the old tape. Just started recording on a new one. That old tape sat in storage. When investigators requested it in 1999, the business owner found it in a box. The footage showed a white U-Haul box truck driving past at 12:47 a.m. on September 13. License plate partially visible. Matched the truck Hill rented. Physical evidence, timeline evidence, rental records, currency straps. It all converged on Eugene Hill. Said his friends set him up as revenge for sleeping with someone's wife. The jury did not buy it. Court testimony lasted 3 weeks. Boyd's father, Steve Boyd, testified against his own son. Told the jury his son confessed to him. Said the money came from the Dunbar heist. The 4 other accomplices pleaded guilty. Testified against Pace and Boyd in exchange for lighter sentences. Alan Pace III, 32 years old, found guilty. Mastermind of the largest cash robbery in United States history. United States District Judge Lords Baird sentenced him to 24 years in federal prison. April 23, 2001. Sentencing day. Pace stood before the court, showed no emotion. The judge noted his meticulous planning, his betrayal of Dunbar's trust, his recruitment of men with clean records to avoid detection. 24 years, Federal Correctional Institution in Safford, Arizona. Eugene Lamar Hill Jr., who cracked first and named everyone, got a deal. Lighter sentence in exchange for cooperation. The attorney David Matsumoto and office manager Joaquin Bin, indicted on 71 counts of money laundering, sentenced to 2.5 years each. $13.9 million unaccounted for. Some of it burned. Pace and his crew realized many of the bills were sequentially numbered, easy to trace. So they destroyed them, incinerated millions rather than risk getting caught spending marked currency. Other money got squandered in Las Vegas casinos, spent on gambling sprees, where cash flows like water and nobody asks questions. The FBI estimates about 12 million remains hidden somewhere, buried, stashed, waiting. None of the convicted men ever revealed where. That was the weak point in a $16 million security system. Dunbar Armored protected $1 billion annually in that depot. They had motion sensors, cameras, armed guards, vault doors. But inside the vault, padlocks you could snap with hand tools. Locking and unlocking heavy-duty cage doors every 10 minutes would slow operations. So they used padlocks. Quick, easy, secure enough for normal circumstances, but not secure against someone with inside knowledge and a plan. Alan Pace exploited that gap. He saw the routine, noted the vulnerability, calculated the risk, executed the plan. 1001. Initial reports downplayed the amount stolen. FBI press releases in September 1997 stated only that the robbers took more than $1 million. They did not reveal the full $18.9 million figure for months. Investigators wanted to keep the crew off guard, make them think the FBI underestimated the take. Psychology. If the thieves think law enforcement does not realize how much they stole, they might get careless, spend more, move faster, make mistakes. That strategy might have worked, except Hill's mistake had nothing to do with how much money was stolen. He just got lazy with currency straps. It documented the investigation from initial crime scene analysis through the arrests and convictions. The show interviewed FBI Special Agent John McEachern and LAPD Detective John Licata, who led the task force. They emphasized the importance of the taillight lens. That single piece of plastic identified the getaway vehicle as a U-Haul. From there, investigators pulled rental records for every U-Haul in Los Angeles County during the week of the heist. Found Hill's name. That one thread unraveled everything. The prosecution had bank statements, transaction records, testimony from real estate brokers and car dealers who handled suspicious cash payments. The evidence was overwhelming. All of them walking free. $12 million still missing. Do they know where it is? Of course they do. Will they ever spend it? Probably not. The FBI watches them. IRS monitors their finances. Any sudden wealth triggers investigation. Any large purchase raises red flags. They are trapped. Free from prison, but prisoners of their own crime. Sitting on a fortune they can never touch. The Dunbar heist was not unique in 1997. That year saw 3 of the largest armored car robberies in United States history. All 3 targeted armored car companies or their depots. All 3 involved inside knowledge. The Dunbar job in September, another in March, a third in late summer. Law enforcement called it the year of the inside job. Security companies had gotten complacent, trusted employees without proper vetting, failed to update protocols. The industry learned hard lessons in 1997. Time locks on vault doors even during operational hours. 2-person authentication systems, biometric scanners. The old model of trusting padlocks and routine died with the Dunbar case. The slow laundering operation, the one fatal mistake. Every element fits the heist genre. In fact, Hollywood did take notice. In 2020, producer Khalib Pinkett announced a film based on the robbery, tentatively titled The Dunbar Heist. Production details remain unclear, but the story is there. The facts alone carry enough drama for a 2-hour feature. A legitimate job. Co-workers who liked him. He could have built a normal life, worked his way up in security, maybe opened his own firm. Instead, he chose crime, calculated the risk, decided 30 minutes of work equaled $3 million equaled worth it. Except it was not. He spent 19 years in federal prison, lost his 30s and 40s behind bars, came out in his 50s with nothing, cannot touch the hidden money, cannot get a decent job with a felony record, cannot travel freely, cannot live normally. Was it worth it? Ask him. I bet he says no. 1999. That is when it ended. 2 years of freedom, then prison, all because he could not be bothered to remove a paper wrapper. The psychological damage is real. It stays with you, knowing that someone planned for months to overpower you, that your routine became their weapon, that you were just an obstacle to be neutralized, that changes how you see the job, how you see the world. Trusted routine over redundancy. Assume that because nothing had happened, nothing would happen. That is the gambler's fallacy. It works until it does not. Alan Pace noticed. He saw the gap, exploited it, won, and then lost everything because Eugene Hill forgot to unwrap the money. A padlock, defeated by a tool designed in the 1800s. Bolt cutters have not changed much in over a century. Lever arms, hardened steel jaws, mechanical advantage, simple physics. You squeeze the handles. The jaws concentrate force on a small point. Metal shears, lock opens. Technology from the Industrial Revolution, defeating technology from the Information Age. Modern security brought down by ancient tools. High-tech defeated by low-tech. $1 million systems beaten by $15 hardware. The Dunbar heist proved what security professionals already knew, but companies often ignore. Physical security depends on physical barriers. If a human can access it, a human can breach it. Locks delay. They do not prevent. Alarms notify. They do not stop. Guards respond. They do not predict. Real security comes from layers, redundancy, unpredictability, constant adaptation. Dunbar failed because they relied on routine. Pace succeeded because he studied that routine. No amount of planning accounts for someone being stupid. And that is what Hill was. Stupid. Not malicious. Not careless in the moment. Just plain stupid. He held marked bills in his hands, saw the Dunbar wrappers, knew those wrappers could be traced, and handed them to a broker anyway. Why? Lazy, arrogant, thought he was smarter than law enforcement, thought 2 years meant they had moved on. He was wrong. Operation Dunrob stayed active from 1997 through the convictions in 2001. 4 years, 15 investigators, thousands of hours. They monitored suspects, tracked financial transactions, built relationships with informants, waited for the mistake. They knew it would come. Criminals always slip. The pressure of living a lie builds over time. Paranoia sets in. You start to believe you got away with it. Let your guard down. Make the error. Hill made it. Pace paid for it. March 2024. For over 2 decades, Dunbar held the record. 18.9 million. That number defined the case, defined Pace. Will define him for the rest of his life. Maybe Pace destroyed it all to eliminate evidence. We will never know unless one of them talks, and they will not. Talking means admitting they lied about where the money went. That means more charges, more prison time. So they stay quiet, live modestly, pretend the money does not exist. And somewhere, in a place only they know, millions in $20 bills wait in darkness. Police found the taillight lens, found the duct tape on the guards, found the empty cages. But the bolt cutters, gone, probably disposed of in a dumpster or a river. Evidence destroyed. It is fitting. The tool that broke the case also disappeared without a trace. 36 inches of hardened steel, long handles for leverage, jaws rated to cut half-inch shackles, bought at a hardware store for $15. Used once, tossed away. That tool changed 8 lives, freed $18.9 million, triggered a 4-year investigation, sent 6 men to prison, rewrote security protocols across an industry, and then vanished. Boyd believed his father would protect him. They were all wrong. The only truth is this: physical security failed, human security failed. And when both fail at once, $18.9 million walks out the door in 30 minutes. That is the lesson. That is what this case teaches. Technology cannot fix flawed assumptions. Procedures cannot prevent inside jobs. And $15 bolt cutters will always defeat $15 padlocks. In 2019, during a routine construction project near the old Dunbar Depot site, workers found something buried in the foundation. A cache of burnt currency, thousands of bills reduced to ash and fragments, serial numbers partially visible. Forensic analysis confirmed they matched the Dunbar Hall. Someone had buried evidence in concrete, tried to hide it permanently. Investigators never determined who. Pace denied knowledge. So did the others. But there it sits. Physical proof that part of the 18.9 million burned turned to ash rather than spent. The thieves destroyed their own fortune to avoid detection. That is desperation. That is paranoia. That is the cost of living with a crime. Not prison, not punishment. The knowledge that you won but can never collect. That you beat the system but lost anyway. The money might as well not exist. And for Alan Pace and his crew, it might as well not. They are rich on paper, broke in reality, free from prison, trapped by the past, walking ghosts of a 30-minute heist that cost them 20 years.